everybody, welcome back to Andertons TV.
Magic.
It is Monday morning, it's time for a new video.
Monday Magic.
Have we decided on a name for this video?
I don't know we have, but before we decide, please like and subscribe. And if you want to skip ahead, there's timestamps and everything. And do all that stuff, because we love you.
I don't think we're happy with the grammar of this title yet, so it might be different. But essentially, it's how different are classic drive pedals really? Really? So here are some pedals, and they are, to one degree or another, classic. Boss, back in the late 70s, came out with one of their original pedals, or their original pedal, the OD-1, was replaced or was evolved in the early 80s, I think, 81, into the SD-1. Yeah. And that pedal has stayed in the catalogue forever since then.
Forever. And it's affordable. I mean, that one is the Waza.
This is the Waza one.
They're like 39 quid or whatever.
The Tube Screamer, another classic Overdrive pedal. The 808 came out in the late 70s. Again, still available now, has spawned a zillion clones.
If you have one in the cupboard, an old original one.
Yeah, the RAT. Actually, it might even be our oldest pedal here, 78.
Really?
The RAT came out, or was it? Yeah, so...
It's almost as old as me then.
And again, another classic pedal that spawned a billion pedals. Then we move into a couple of copies of pedals because the originals are harder to get hold of.
Well, we do have
So we've gone for a Snouse BlackBox, which is sort of in Marshall Bluesbreaker territory. So Bluesbreaker, everyone remembers as a classic amp from the 60s that people like Eric Clapton used. And then in the 90s, Marshall brought out a little pedal called the Bluesbreaker pedal. Yeah. And then they discontinued it. And rumour has it might be coming back, but we're not allowed to say. For now, again, a million different clones. The Snouse is highly respected, but again, so is the JHS Morning Glory, and and don't forget there are affordable clones of all of these things as well. Right.
Links below.
Probably the craziest, priced pedal in the universe is the Klon Centaur. Players like Joe Bonamassa and John Mayer and stuff have sort of driven the price. You see them on their boards and everyone goes, oh, I must pay £10 million for one.
Which you can win if when we hit 1 million, we'll pick one. And somebody said, just not to...
you're not the millionth subscriber.
It's not, you don't have to be number million. You just subscribe, and then when we hit 1 million, we'll pick one.
So now obviously... The Klon Centaur is unobtainium money, but the Wampler Tumnus is the general consensus. It's probably the best or one of the best Klon clones.
One I'll shoot out, so go up there and have a look at that.
Then we picked a couple of others that I think are slightly more... Actually, the Klon isn't super new. The Klon came out in 1994.
I know, and I had one, and I sold it.
And then lastly, we've got the ODR-1, which came out in 1985.
Classic Nashville.
Even though it's green, it's not the kind of nasally, mid-rangey kind of tone. And then finally, the Fulltone OCD, which, again, some people say is sort of an offshoot of the Tube Screamer family, but I think it's sort of got its own, vibe going on anyway. So we're going to do two things. A, how do they all sound comparatively differently? And then the bit is like, do they actually sound that different?
Can we get them to sound a little bit the same?
Can we get them to sound the same? So... we've got a Strat with a humbucker on it to give us, everything from a clean tone to a driven tone.
Can I just shut the neck on this one? Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, and we've got an amp with a clean and which is like this. And we've got the drive channel on its lowest setting. So we might dump a pedal over the top of that.
Yeah, and I might tune this as well, but
Tune it? Yeah. Radical. Okay, pedal number one in standard mode, because that's what they say captures the original kind of SD-1 tone. Okay. Level just over halfway, and then we'll muck around with drive and tone.
It's very more nasally than I remember it.
Well, Boss say that the original SD-1 was a sort of a soft. Is it a soft asymmetrical clipping? I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not going to go into all the different types of clipping. It's not my bag. Josh from JHS is the man to subscribe to if you want to understand the difference between asymmetrical and symmetrical clipping and diodes and this, that, and the other.
And
we're just going to stick with the tone.
Go to those guys.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be like an amp being driven tone rather than like a fuzz pedal or stuff. Yeah. In fact, I probably should precede all of this by saying I absolutely know that, the first ever kind of drive pedals as such would have been the fuzz pedals that came out in the 60s.
Yeah.
But I think fuzz is its own thing. I don't think that. I know that. We all agree fuzz is its own thing. So we're staying with what you would conventionally call a drive pedal rather than a fuzz pedal, and drive pedals could be overdrive or they could be distortion or whatever, but they're not fuzz.
More to capture what a front end of an amp.
That kind of vibe.
Getting that sounds like.
So a little bit less drive. Let's see what it sounds. What's it doing EQ wise to this?
Losing the low end.
Yeah, so it's tightening it up a bit,
it's going like
pushing the mid-range a bit more, bit like we all assume a tube screamer would. And then if I drive it a bit more. Almost sounds like a bit of that bass end comes back, doesn't it? As you drive it.
I'm going to go on the back pickup here. It sounds good though.
I'll be honest with you.
It sounds good.
Doesn't everybody just look at the Boss SD1, the fact that it's been out for 1 million years, the fact that the basic version's only like 39 quid or whatever. Is it less than that?
I think it's like,
and just sort of go, I won't like that. Yeah. I'll find a posh. And it's like, maybe you should.
It's such a good pedal, and it'll survive a nuclear blast 100%. Like Indiana Jones in the.
What's your yellow one up there then that you've had since the 80s?
Well, you say the 80s, Lee, but yes, you're probably right. That is the SD2, so that's a dual one.
Yeah, but still works, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Still works.
That's the one with like 2 circuits in it, the crunch pedal. Look how dirty it is.
So let's hear this maybe, if I go back halfway, is it the sort of pedal you might use in front of a slightly dirty amp? So quite a lot of gain. It's a good amp, right? So I'm going to go with the classic, not too much drive, but boost the level a bit. So that's, I think, what we do with most of these. I really like the fact that the bass end seems to come in and get a bit fatter again as you drive.
When you put the gain in.
You put more drive in.
I like it.
Yeah.
Good pedal, man.
Yeah, we'll probably dive back and do some more sort of like A/B testing type thing towards the end of this video. But we're going to move on now to the Tube Screamer.
There we go.
It's probably the most copied pedal of all time.
Yeah.
So here we go. TS808 is the original Tube Screamer version. Sort of, newer iterations of the Tube Screamer got slightly more gainy with the TS9 and the TS10 and stuff. But TS808 is the classic, Stevie Ray Vaughan associated pedal.
It's got more low end than I remember it compared to the other one. Anyway.
I should also say as well, this video is probably only going to be useful for people that are trying to do like a blues rock kind of vibe. We're not really talking about how you might use these pedals in a sort of a metal scene. It's not really our bag. No. And the only reason I say that is that I know that the Tube Screamer, again, it's a hugely used pedal in the metal scene to take a very driven sound already and tighten it in a way.
Yeah. What's the one?
There's a funny sound when I never really liked the Tube Screamer over a clean sound because I still think too much of the original clean sound can be heard.
See, I like that. Yeah, but what I don't like about the tube screamer is sometimes it gets too nasally. It's almost like somebody getting
I didn't really hear that
sound.
there.
No.
So what's it like over the gain? Can I just immediately I prefer that, because then what I'm not hearing is like over the clean sound, I feel like I hear two sounds. I hear like a clean guitar sound and a driven sound.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I just want to hear the driven sound.
That's why I love a blend knob.
Yeah.
And if anyone asks, where is that reverb coming from? I got a flint on the floor.
Good man.
In the effects
Good
loop.
Man.
I mean,
it's just classic.
You have that on top of
it,
and then
so
that's great sound.
That's the tube screamer, and I guess the fact that it just tightens the bass end up and gives that mid-range punch just makes it an ideal pedal for someone trying to do like a solo with a gainy kind of guitar amp.
Yeah.
Okay, RAT.
Get your RAT out, mate.
It's older than I thought it was. It's a sort of a late 70s pedal again. Yeah. So
same as me.
Let's go back to clean.
Oh yeah, clean. Here we go.
Now the RAT has a reputation for probably being gainier. If anything, it might have a slight dribble of fuzz in it.
Dribble. See, I don't think the other pedals did that. It's a good pedal as well, isn't it?
If there's going to be one pedal out of all these, I bet is unique, it will be this one. So, okay, now it has a filter on it, which is like a sweepy EQ kind of vibe. So again, it's not quite the same as just turning all the treble off or making it very bright, but. Half of me thinks, can you imagine the late 70s where all the amps that were around there probably weren't crazy overdrivey anyway, like you could have like a screaming Marshall, but it wouldn't have been like
it's tiny.
And then all of a sudden someone comes up and goes, plug this in the front. It's like, wow.
And you just do that.
I don't think this is going to sound great, but can we try it over a...
We can. It sounds great.
I take it all back. That didn't sound bad at all.
Is it just the amp, or what is it that just makes it? But I mean, that sounds good.
That does sound good. So we will literally come back and just A/B some of these. But next along then, so Bluesbreaker again is spawned a million pedals.
Yeah.
Always had the original Bluesbreaker pedal had a bit of a reputation for not having that much gain until you've got the gain knob round to sort of 3/4 of the way round.
Cool. Yeah.
So let's just have a little try with this and see what it sounds like.
Sounds good.
It's a great bluesy.
So I like that BlackBox. Box is great.
The Bluesbreaker vibe doesn't roll off the bass end that these two appear to. So if you want that, I mean, the Rat obviously is, you know, is not subtle. You know, it's like straight into a gainy sound.
Yeah, it's much more.
The BlackBox, I think, does do a good job of just giving you a big, expansive, smooth...
top and low end, and yeah.
Oh, it sounds great, does it? If I remember rightly, and again, I have to ask our wonderful editors and people that prep all the videos before they go out, I'm fairly sure that over the last year or two, Pete and I have done Tube Screamer clone videos, Rat clone videos, Bluesbreaker videos, and Klon videos.
We have done,
So we'll put links to all those in the description below, because you can get
there'll be links everywhere.
Cheaper versions of all of these, more expensive versions of all of these. You know, so again, have a little look.
That is good. I had the I had that on my board for a little bit, and we have he does one with switching on the side, so there's 4 switches on the side. I don't know where it's
I think that sounds fabulous. But let's see what happens if we start to sort of gain it up a little bit and see where we can get.
I think it doesn't. There's too much gain. No, you don't. You don't really. I think it's nicer. That's how when I was running the brown box, the protein. I always had it, but it's just a little bit of gain. Not a lot of bit of gain, just a little bit.
And then
I love that.
It's
That's
nice.
Such a nice tone.
I think in isolation, whenever we're doing these videos, of course, we're just playing guitar on its own. There's no band or anything like that.
No.
And I kind of feel that extra bass end when you're playing in isolation is always lovely to have. I do get it that it may not be desirable in certain
people forget
situations.
that, you know, people forget that most, I think at the moment, most people don't go and gig. They haven't done for a long time. And when you're sitting at home, you want something that's got a fat low end, you know. This just hugs you and makes you feel delicious.
Let's try it over the driven sound of the amps.
Okay. I don't know what is happening today.
That works.
Wow, that sounds great, man. Just go back on that one. Take it off. That's the driven. That's almost my favorite on the drive.
Just hitting that harmonic, isn't it? Fine. Okay.
This is so flamey, this
back
neck.
To clean.
Beautiful. Black to clean.
Wampler Tumnus. Again,
tuned really quick.
Amazing pedal. It must have sold tens of thousands of these. You know, when you think that buying a real Klon now is probably going to set you back the thick end of $4,000, maybe more now.
Yeah.
And you pick up a Wampler Tumnus pedal for like 150 quid or whatever they are.
135, and we got the
That's
black
true.
version.
We love
gold.
this pedal so much. We asked Wampler to do our own version of it, which is on screen now.
Yeah.
It's identical inside. It's
inverted
just a different colour on the outside. Yes, inverted.
Inverted.
Like my toenails. Okay, so clean.
Yeah. It's just very clean and boosty.
Yeah, let me just... It's not very gainy, is it?
No.
What it does though is it you know, sometimes when you hear people talking about
headroom,
Dumble amps and stuff.
Oh,
all those high headroom, big Fenders, Dumbles, whatever, the Stevie Ray Vaughan thing. That certain sense of like that first note just goes whap, like
straight in
that.
your face.
It almost feels like it's kind of just, because you play that sort of without it, and then, you know.
There's just a feel when you just... You can. There's much more finesse and dynamics and harmonics and pick tricks. What's the guy with the harp who always gets? He sits up and sings in the tree, and they always beat him up.
Who was it?
Singer mix.
Was it Josh again at JHS who said basically until the gain control is around a certain amount, the whole pedal doesn't even do anything. Yeah. So let's see, distortion or gain level now at 3/4.
I mean, it sounds...
I mean, wow, it's dumping a lot more volume than any of the other pedals seem to have so far.
Yes, but isn't that what a Klon does? You know, it's that always on, just kind of...
Let's try it over.
That's a fence sound. It's a fence. Does that make sense? It's like what we say in Danish. It's like a guitar. You call it fence. The strings are like a fence. Hein.
Really?
Hein. Yeah, because it's like a fence. But anyway. Yeah, because it looks a bit like a fence if you. But anyway. So if you run a branch down the side of it. And also, this just looks like a fence. It's Monday. And you see why a lot of these big rock stars like Aerosmith and all those guys, Joe Perry, they use these pedals. And of course, you know, if they are running it into a slightly gain marshally. That amp is good, man, as well.
It's a good amp. So, clean sound again.
Yeah.
Now we're on Nobels ODR-1. I think just purely and simply because they decided to make it green. Everybody has this preconception it's going to be some sort of tube screamer clone.
But it's not.
It's got a lot more bottom end on it. So let's have a little listen to his clean. Here is... No, it's still.
I bought that from Thomann when I was touring in Germany. And you didn't sell them that, no?
It's got a big range of drive in this, hasn't it? From, you know, hard. Almost too much bass end.
That's why they've done
bass end.
They've done the new one where it's got a little switch when you flick. I mean, it's such a so you flick that up where the battery is, but inside there's a little bass low. There's another version of it where there's a little bass.
The latest version.
Yeah, not the. I think there's a different version because people still want the bass, but you can cut the low and cut it.
I agree with you. Like we were saying before, when you're playing on your own, there is a set. Particularly, I mean, we've got an amp with loads of bass in it. Maybe your amp needs a helping hand with the bass end, but there's a lot of bass. So, what is it like over a driven tone?
It's more like the Wampler. Sorry to interrupt. The Wampler bell. Yeah. Where he put some stuff in that actually helps less bass and a bit more clarity in it.
Right.
That was a great pedal, that Wampler bell. That's not so much difference, is it? Great, man.
Great! There's not a bad one yet, is there, really? Okay, so now we're going to go on to the OCD. And as I've said before in the video, what I really want to do is kind of just do some like A-B, whilst Pete's playing to get a vibe. Because
I'll do some of that chugging.
I kind of know that we'd said at the beginning there was this like, are they actually that different? Is it just a question of moving the dials to get the sound? But I actually think they are all quite different.
Yeah.
But so onto the OCD, clean sound. I've got like a high and a low switch for the amount of gain on the top here.
Yes.
We're on the high at the moment, so we'll just start everything on 12.
Almost sounded like what the ODR-1 sounded in front of the drive channel. That takes 18 volts as well. It's a 9 to 18, so you get more headroom if you put it in the 18.
Gainiest one so far.
Yeah, I think so.
I
remember I bought my first OCD and I couldn't find it anywhere, so I bought it in out on the A3. There's a big Tesco's.
Right.
Do you know what that is? Like on the A3 motorway out to, and there's a big Tesco's out. I bought it in car park with some dude.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you bought it from Tesco's.
No, in the car park.
Okay, so I've switched it down to the low setting now, and we'll just see what it does. So there isn't really there's not like the super subtle low drive that maybe there was on the.
Well, try to go back on it. I'll go on the neck pickup and just. Yeah, there is. I forgot how good that pedal actually is.
Yeah. Mike Fuller and Robert Keeley they're like the original boutique guys, aren't they?
Yeah.
And obviously there's millions of guys trying to, making great pedals. But all right, so we're going to go back to the high. Just see how much it's got in high. Okay, and then I don't know where I'll probably go back to low and
I would just leave it in where you... That's the
amp. Now that's the amp.
Yeah. It's got that, It's got that 80s...
Pick all the harmonics out.
Yeah, a lot of harmonics. It's the closest to that kind of Van Halen kind of sound, in my opinion. Not that I know anything about that, but I like that sound. Wow.
So what I'm going to try and do now is... I don't really know how to set these to sort of do anything...
I think you should leave them as you had them.
Yeah, I think
that was a good sound, wasn't it?
Leave them like as our sort of
don't touch
semi-favourite sounds, maybe a little gainier. And let's just we'll just literally flip between different ones to see what they are again.
What? Oh, they sound really similar. Wow. I mean, it's almost like it's for me. It's like this, and that. I like the best.
The Tumnus is weird.
Yeah, it's a clean Masters, feely good.
Yeah, I mean, when you think that it's a copy of essentially probably the most iconically desirable drive pedal of all time. Why is the Klon this?
Oh, it's just
it's almost like every great guitar player just has one on the board, and it's almost just like, well, there must be some unicorn magic going on here.
Is there though? Oh, it's like Tonewood. Or is it? I think the BlackBox is probably the one I like the best in out of all of these, because what it can do. It can do that. Just put it on, and just clean. You can, it can do that clonny thing. And you just need more volume from this BlackBox. Less gain. So they're very similar.
They're very similar.
And I think the BlackBox can do what the OCD can't.
I think we're saying that these two here are probably the most similar.
Yeah.
Like, as in they're not kind of crazy. I mean, let's just see what that's like on it.
Good for soloing in a band. It's more top in the Super Overdrive. And a little bit more volume. Put a little bit more volume on the Tube Screamer, a little bit more tone. More tone, more volume. Go on.
There's not a lot to go on the Tube Screamer, as in they're both... So we're saying these
so
are very
sound similar.
These are very similar.
Yeah.
The rat's unique, right?
I don't think the rat. I think you leave the rat out because not leave it out, but I think it's so much different, so much more different than any of the other ones that I don't think it can never sound like.
What's quite nice was sort of saying you probably don't need to own both of these. You probably if that's your vibe, you can do one. So the rat, if that's your sound, that's the one you need to own.
Is that just that on now? There's a similar kind of thing.
Yeah, there's something similar. I'm feeling like the OCD might do a few sounds here. So the Tumnus, okay, let's just play around with this again. What can we get? Right, maximum gain.
You can turn the gain, volume down, volume up a little bit on the Super Overdrive.
It's a lower mid-range boost.
It's more low end, but that's more mid-range. But it still does a similar job.
Because it's not that much gain, is it? Let's just do the Tube Screamer.
Take some gain.
Very similar. These three.
And I bet you the BlackBox can do a job.
Do you know the big difference here is that the Tube Screamer and the Super Overdrive are almost maxed out in terms of the level that they've got, whereas the Tumnus is completely the opposite. I've got the volume, well turned down.
So I think excuse me.
That's fine. I'm keeping you up. I think you're right. I think the Tumnus is all about. There's so much on tap here to dial in.
Yeah.
So let's just do again. So I don't know. I'm really liking this pedal in the middle.
Much more. But I bet you can.
If we...
It's not good at guns.
No, I
don't think so. Well, I say that.
It's doing that thing that I said I didn't really like the Tube Screamer doing with lots of gain, where there's like, it's almost you can hear a clean sound and a dirty sound.
I don't mind that.
For that lower gain, fat sound.
I'll take some gain off still.
Wow. Okay, let's see what happens with this really.
That's got a great low gain setting. It's more it's got a fizz. No, I like that.
Okay.
It's like got this low.
I've gone deaf now.
Yeah, I know.
They all sound the same now. I think this is the problem by the end of every video. And then finally, we might do some. Let me just compare these two again.
That is great. That's great. That's great. I mean, these are holy smokes, they're all good. They're all good, aren't they? But there's at the end of the day, just buy them all.
I mean, I don't know what we've really proved. So I think what we've proved is when you talk about overdrives having their own kind of character, and I am going to leave the RAT for me is the uniquest sounding here for me personally. Yeah. I think what you realise is that overdrive is a tree, and all the different overdrives are the branches.
Yeah.
So fundamentally, you're not necessarily sort of. I do agree. Once you get into the world of fuzz and you start pulling out, big muffs and tone benders and all that kind of stuff, then I think maybe that's a different tree.
Yeah.
Maybe the RAT is a hybrid of.
It's a little bit like the mud honey. Like it's got that sort of where it's in the middle. I think this, and this. I sound like Doc's Auto. Whatever. This. It's like that one, and that one. Can be very similar. Sound similar. Yeah. This, and this are in a similar camp, in my opinion.
Do you know what? I think that's nailed on.
But this can be more boost side of these three, where those can't,
So what we're really saying, I like this as well, I bet there's some interesting combinations. I'm just going to literally do a quick unpluggy. All I literally did there was I just put, so what we've got now is 3 pedals that we like the slightly higher gain tones out of, or the fat, and then 3 sort of boosty pedals. So let's just see now, so we get a basic tone.
What we're saying is that's really good.
We're saying this is really good. So actually, what I would, again, sorry if I'm repeating myself, I kind of thought
that's okay.
There's some really good gainy tones here.
Yeah.
And then some really good boosty tones into the gainy tones.
Or into a gainy amp. I mean, those pedals over there are better into a gainy amp, right?
That's How have we forgotten about this?
We haven't forgotten about it.
But we don't use it that much. No, that's a great sound.
And it's always been a good pedal, but I tell you what, I had it on my board for a little while, and for some reason I never really got on with it. I don't know why. It just kind of, it was on and I was like, nah, I don't really know. And then
to decide, I think one of my favourite combinations was literally like these two
together, yeah. I can't even remember what it was now.
But it was really I'm trying to choose between these two as the... So. might be these two, but like I like that into that.
Oh, I like that into that too. I like this guitar, it's great, man.
These guitars, by the way, were a little run of things that we did with Fender, where we said, can you take the Ultra, which is like a crazy popular sort of top of the range American standard production model, and do like a custom shop version of it. So this is custom shop American Ultra.
Nice flex pickups.
Specs will all be on the website, but
different colours.
Different colours, nitro finishes, roasted maple necks, all that kind of stuff.
Look at that.
But basically designed around an Ultra. So anyway, go check those out if you're interested.
And that's a purple SLO.
Oh my goodness me, the Soldano SLO30. That is a bucket list amplifier, as we've said many times before.
Yeah. Very happy to have it in here.
Was this a useful video?
I don't know.
I think
it always is.
I think it.
And if it wasn't, then just
Did you? Are you going to come on, Pete? You can have 2 pedals. What are you going to buy, or have, or whichever way?
Oh man, 2 pedals that I could do everything with. Maybe the BlackBox and the OCD, maybe.
Right, that's what we're playing out on then. Go.
Well, what about you? Don't say that.
I said these 2.
Take it off and then hear the clean amp, just the clean amp, and then the BlackBox.